Om Swastiastu. Hello everyone, with me Risma here. In this video, I will explain to the material about phonology. Before I continue explain to the material, I will first mention about the significance of learning phonology. The significances of learning phonology are as follows. Number 1. To produce the sounds forming meaningful utterance. Number 2. To recognize the sound patterns of English. Number 3. To recognize foreign accents. And number 4. To make up new words. And number 5. To produce aspirated and unspirated sounds. And number 6. To pronounce voiceless stops in the appropriate context. And number 7. To know what is or is not a sound. And the last number 8. To know what different phonetic strings might represent the same meaningful unit. From King and Rodman, 1983. Well, just to the material that I will explain, that is the first definition of phonology. Phonology is the science of the vocabulary of sounds or phonemes of language and their distribution. Phonology is defined as the study of language, which study the sounds of language produced by human speech. Phonology consists of two parts, namely, number 1, phonetics, and number 2, phonemics. Phonetics is a part of phonology which study how to produce language sounds or how language sounds is produced by human speech organs. And phonemics is a part of phonology that studies speech sounds according to their functions as differentiating meanings. Well, everyone, if anyone asks about is phonology different or the same as phonetics? Well, phonology is different from phonetics. Phonetics is about studying how the phoneme sounds of a language are related or pronounced. Phonetics also studies how the organs of the human body work, especially those related to the use and pronunciation of language. And the second material, that is understanding phonology according to experts. Here are the opinions of experts about the meaning of phonology. Number 1, Krida Laksana, 2002. According to Krida Laksana, a quote from the Linguistic Dictionary. Phonology has the meaning of a field in linguistics that studies various sounds of language based on their functions. And number 2, Abdul Chair, 2003. Based on etymology, phonology is formed from the word phon, which means sound, and logy means science. So, generally speaking, phonology means the study of the sounds of language used by humans. And number 3, by Verhaar, 1984. Explained the phonology has a significant meaning, which is a science that studies a special field of linguistics that examines the sound of a particular language according to its function, which aims to be a differentiator between the lexical meaning of language. Well, the next material is phonology functions. There are 3 functions that you will learn in English linguistics. Namely, the first, knowing the sound change in a word. The second, learn about the process of sound formation and pronunciation. And the third, studying the workings of human organs. especially those related to the use of language. Well, the next material is essential terms in phonology. Number 1, phonemes. Phonemes is the basic sound unit of a language. We combine phonemes into morphemes or meaning units and into words. The phoneme is written with the symbol between two slash marks. For example, T. The T sound in ladder. And number 2, allophones. If you say kid and skid, a lot you will have produced two different allophones. In the first, there is a slight aspirance or H sound following the K. In the second, it is absent. These sounds are different, but they are not phonemes. If you add the aspirants to the sound in skid, you will not make a different word, although it will sound odd. And number 3, minimal pairs are words which differ in meaning because of a change to a single phoneme. For example, the words cat and hat are only distinguished by the first phoneme, K in the first case and H in the second. In English, these are minimal pairs, so the sounds are phonemes. And number 4, distinctive features. The term distinctive features is used in phonology to refer to the minimal units of sound that serve to distinguish the meaning of one word from another within a language. Distinctive features generally correspond to a specific articulatory or acoustic property of sound. And number 5, syllable structure. A unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding consonants, forming the whole or a part of a word. For example, there are 2 syllables in water and 3 in inferno. And phonotactics. Phonotactics is defined permissible syllable structure, consonant cluster, and vowel sequence by means of phonotactical constraints. Phonotactic constraints are highly language specific. And the last, morphophonemics. Morphophonemics involves an investigation of the phonological variance within morphemes, usually marking different grammatical functions. The vowel changes in sleep and slap, bean and bone, vein and vanity, and the consonant alternations in knife and knives, and loaf and loaves. Well, the next material is 7 types of phonological rules in English. Here is an interesting discussion I had in my class recently. Phonological rules in English can be classified by the kind of process they involve. Here are the 7 major types of phonological rules or processes with examples. Number 1, assimilation. Phonological process in which a sound changes to resemble a nearby sound and can occur both forward and backward within a word or between words. Example, the prefix in, where sometimes in appears as in and others as in front of bilabial words like put, or between. In is pronounced with an M. Input or in between. And number 2, dissimilation. Phonological process in which two close sounds, similar consonants or vowels, change to become less alike. Example, manner dissimilation in which a stop becomes a fricative when followed by another stop. The word six is pronounced six. And number 3, insertion. Phonological process in which sound is added to word. Example, voiceless stop insertion where between a nasal consonant and a voiceless fricative. A voiceless stop with the same place of articulation as the nasal consonants in inserted. In English, many add a P to hamster and say hamster. And number 4, deletion or elision. Phonological process in which speech sounds disappear from words. Example, vowels can be deleted to make one-syllable words that are easier to pronounce in a fast manner. For example, police becomes police and friendship is said as friendship. And the last, number 5, metathesis. Phonological process in which sound switch place in the phonemic structure of a word. Example, to make a word easier to pronounce and understand, letters and switch. And 2 historical examples include Old English, Brit and AKS, becoming modern English, bird and axe. Well, the next material is voice sound and voiceless sound. Some consonant sounds are voiced and some are voiceless. A voiceless sound is one that just uses air to make the sound and not the voice. And you can tell if a sound is voiced or not by putting your hand gently on your throat. When you say a sound, if you can feel a vibration, it is a voice sound. Voicing is important because sometimes it's the only difference in the pronunciation of two very different words, such as bed and pet. For example, bed, the B sound is voiced, and pet, the P sound is voiceless. Okay everyone, in this video I will invite you to say voiceless and voice. The following sounds are usually voiceless, and as you can see on the slide, it's an example of voiceless. For example, P, key, T, V, and the others. And these next sounds are described as voiced but are only fully voiced when they are between other voiced sound. And you can see on the slide, it's an example of voice. And for example, ba, da, ga, fa, va, ha, and the others. Well, is pronounced slightly differently before a voice sound. Listen to the following words Can you hear the difference? For example, cub, 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 cub. Before the voice sound B in cub, the E sound is longer than before the voiceless sound P in kid. Well, I hope you understand about my explanation for voice and voiceless. Well, everyone, that's the only material about phonology that I can explain. I hope you all understand about phonology material. I apologize if there are errors in the pronunciation or material that I convey. Thank you for watching and listening. I close with Param Santi. Om Santi 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 Om.